One dark afternoon, Richard and his wife Mary were worried. Their teenage son, Stephen, had been misbehaving a lot. His parents decided to send him to a boarding school. Stephen felt angry and betrayed, blaming them for sending him away. On the way to school, Richard tried to calm Stephen, but Stephen only got more upset. The fight got worse, and Richard lost control of the car. Their car crashed straight into a truck. 6 months later, Mary looked tired from her daily routine. She went to Stephen's room and opened the curtains. Stephen had survived, but was left in a coma-like state. Mary later pushed him in a wheelchair to the living room and left him in front of the TV before going to work. Mary worked as a psychologist, helping troubled kids. One of her patients was Tom, a deaf boy with no parents. Tom didn't care much about the sessions and rarely talked. His caretaker, Joan, told Mary that Tom would soon be moved to a group home in Boston. The orphanage staff could no longer handle him because he often lashed out at other kids. Mary wanted to help him more, but their time together ended. Before he left, she gave him a scarf and hat that once belonged to Stephen. At her clinic, Mary's receptionist Lucy gave her a pamphlet about a nursing home where Stephen could stay. That night, Mary talked to her own therapist, Dr. Wilson. She admitted she couldn't handle caring for Stephen alone anymore. She still loved him, but felt like the boy she once knew was gone. Later, Mary bathed Stephen while softly singing. But in her mind, she imagined drowning him under the water. She quickly snapped out of it and realized it was only a dream. That night, she heard a noise downstairs. Gathering courage, she checked but found nothing. Then, she heard glass breaking near her clinic. She rushed outside and saw Tom sitting in her car. Back home, Mary gave Tom some hot cocoa. But when Joan called, Mary stepped into her office. The door locked behind her. She used spare keys to escape, but by then, Tom was gone. She searched outside, but couldn't find him. The next morning, the sheriff promised they would search for the boy. That night, Mary woke up again to strange sounds. She rushed to lock the door, but a hand pushed through before she could close it. When she opened it, she saw Stephen standing there, only to wake up again. It was another nightmare. The next day, Lucy saw Mary cleaning Stephen's room. Mary said it was for Tom if he ever returned. Lucy reminded her about her appointment with another patient, Aaron. During the session, Aaron complained about Tom, saying he hated how much attention the boy got. Mary, distracted by a newspaper article about Tom, barely listened. Later, Aaron's father, Doug, talked to her. He worried about Aaron's slow progress. Mary told him it would take time since Aaron was still struggling with his parents' divorce. Before leaving, Doug awkwardly asked Mary to join him for dinner and suggested she stay with them during the storm. Mary politely refused, saying it wouldn't be professional. Doug felt embarrassed and apologized. As Mary came back home, Doug noticed Stephen staring out the upstairs window. That unsettling sight made Doug regret asking her out. That night, Mary tucked Stephen into bed. Just as she was leaving, she heard a noise in the hallway. Stephen suddenly gripped her hand tightly. Instead of checking the sound, she stayed with him. In the middle of the night, Mary woke up to footsteps coming closer to her room. The door slowly creaked open, and a shadow of a young boy appeared. Mary froze in fear and shut her eyes tight. When she opened them again, the figure was gone. She sighed in relief, until Tom suddenly appeared by her bed. He covered her mouth with his hand and signaled her to stay quiet. The next morning, Mary told Dr. Wilson what she had seen. He said it was probably parasomnia, a sleep problem that causes night terrors and hallucinations. But Mary began to think Tom was actually dead and that his ghost was haunting her. Wilson suggested she might just be seeing her grief for Stephen. Tears filled Mary's eyes as she realized he could be right. Before the session ended, Wilson asked for a blood sample so he could give her sleeping medicine. At home, Mary saw the crawlspace door open and quickly shut it. Soon, a nurse came to draw her blood. After that, Mary and Lucy went for a short walk. They talked about Doug, and Lucy encouraged Mary to give him a chance. That evening, Mary finally invited Doug over for dinner. She apologized for being cold before, but Doug kindly brushed it off. He said he understood her struggles with Stephen and even shared his own story about raising a difficult teenager. Their dinner ended warmly, and Mary stretched out on the couch, tired. But just as she was about to sleep, she heard a door slam. Feeling dizzy, she checked Stephen's room. His bed was empty. Panic filled her as she searched the house, following strange sounds to the crawl space. When she opened the little door, a hand lunged out and grabbed her. Mary screamed, fought back, and slammed the door shut. She pushed heavy furniture against it and collapsed in fear. By morning, Mary woke up groggy, still leaning on the crawlspace door. She rushed to Stephen's room and saw scratches on his face. Terrified, she called Wilson, but he dismissed her worries, saying she was only imagining things. He told her he would put her on antidepressants once her test results came back. Meanwhile, a snowstorm was coming. Mary heard on the radio that a boy who looked like Tom had been seen in Florida. She felt relieved. Maybe Tom was alive. Later, Lucy brought supplies and asked Mary and Stephen to stay with her during the storm, but Mary refused. Mary stocked firewood in the stove and went to the basement for lanterns. Down there, she heard footsteps above her. When she came back up, Doug appeared and startled her. He invited her and Stephen to stay with him and Aaron until the storm ended, but Mary declined. She mentioned Tom, saying she was glad he was found, only for Doug to tell her the news was false. Mary was shaken and asked Doug to leave. Back in the basement, she tried distracting herself with chores. Unable to find a storage key, she smashed the lock with a hatchet. At the same time, Dr. Wilson kept trying to reach her. When she finally answered, he told her the blood test results were back. Shockingly, he accused her of using drugs without his permission, maybe even stealing Stephen's medicine. Confused and angry, Mary said she didn't know what he meant. She left the room, but forgot to hang up the call. At Wilson's office, he noticed something terrifying. Stephen was no longer sitting in his wheelchair. Instead, he was moving across the room by himself. Before Wilson could understand, the power went out and the call disconnected. Back at the house, Mary was trapped in the dark basement with only a lamp. There, she finally saw Tom hiding inside the storage. Mary almost bumps into Stephen, who is suddenly standing on his own. Shocked, she freezes, but before she can react, Stephen knocks her out. When she wakes up, she finds herself tied in the bathroom. Stephen is washing her like a child. He shushes her, telling her not to be scared. As soon as he pulls the tape from her mouth, Mary screams. Stephen panics, covers her mouth, and begs her to stay quiet. He confesses the truth. He was never paralyzed or mute after the accident. For months, he only pretended so Mary would care for him. But when Tom showed up, everything changed. Stephen felt Mary had chosen Tom instead of him, so he tried to kill the boy. Tom survived and has been hiding in the crawl space all along. Stephen also admits he has been drugging Mary ever since Tom arrived. He forces more pills in her mouth, tapes her up again, and promises that once things go back to normal, it will be just the two of them. Mary cries as he walks away. Meanwhile, Wilson drives through the snowstorm, worried about Mary. He calls the police, but crashes into a snowbank. Hurt but alive, he continues on foot toward her house. Inside, Mary frees her hands using slippery shampoo. She even drinks some to vomit out the drugs. Weak but determined, she sneaks out of the bathroom. But her phone has no signal, and the landline is dead. Hearing Stephen shouts from the basement, she finds Tom, dirty, tied up but alive. Before she can save him, Stephen storms in with an axe, angry that Mary planned to send him to a nursing home. Mary grabs a gun, but it's not loaded. She smashes Stephen with it, stunning him long enough to untie Tom. Stephen recovers quickly, drags Mary by the hair, and lunges at Tom. Mary wrestles him, giving Tom a chance to escape. During the struggle, Stephen reveals the darkest truth. The accident didn't change him. He had always wanted his father dead, so he could have Mary all to himself. He clings to her, whispering they don't need anyone else. Disgusted, Mary knees him hard and breaks free. She locks him in the basement and runs to find Tom. She discovers him hiding in a closet, too scared to move. With no choice, Mary makes a plan. She leaves footprints in the snow to fool Stephen, then hides her boots and squeezes into the closet with Tom. Stephen climbs out of the basement and sees the footprints, but the boots at the door reveal Mary's trick. He storms to the closet with a hammer, but doesn't notice Mary and Tom hiding deep behind the clothes. Just then, headlights flash outside. Wilson has arrived. Unaware of the danger, he enters the house and notices Stephen's empty wheelchair. As he turns, Stephen stabs him, furious that Wilson encouraged Mary to send him away. Still hiding, Mary and Tom hear Stephen boarding up the doors and windows. Once Stephen goes upstairs, Mary whispers to Tom to stay hidden while she looks for help. In the kitchen, she clears snow from the back door, but recoils in horror when Doug's frozen body falls against it. Terrified, she runs back to the closet and takes Tom with her. Moving carefully, they find Wilson barely alive. With his last breaths, he tells Mary to pretend to side with Stephen and use that chance to save Tom. Knowing they can't escape, Mary climbs onto the kitchen table and smashes open the skylight. The sound alerts Stephen, who rushes back and spots Tom climbing onto the roof. Desperate, Mary tries to calm Stephen. She tells him she was wrong and that she still loves him. For a moment, Stephen seems to relax, but then Mary suddenly slams his hand on the hot stove. Stephen gets furious and grabs Mary by the throat, almost choking her. At that moment, Tom throws snow from the skylight, distracting Stephen. Mary takes the chance and hits Stephen on the head with a pan, knocking him out. She pulls Tom down, pries the nails off the front door with a hammer, and they run out into the storm. But Stephen wakes up, grabs a weapon, and follows them to a frozen lake. At the dock, Mary shields Tom as Stephen comes closer. Tom climbs onto a floating platform, but is chained to the pier. Mary fights Stephen off with an oar, but he jumps onto the platform, shaking it. Tom loses his balance and falls into the freezing water. Stephen tries to push him under, trying to drown him. Mary struggles to pull Tom out, and finally, she hits Stephen on the head with a hammer. This time, Stephen is dead. His body falls into the icy lake and drifts away. Later, Mary takes Tom to the adoption center. Tom proudly shows her a drawing of a dog and asks if they could get one someday. Mary smiles and says she'll think about it. As they step inside together, Mary tells him that from now on, everything will be okay.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.